let's get into today's topic. So I'm going to share with you my experience on how I took an idea from zero to 10,000 US dollars in less than 4 weeks. So back in the summer of 2017, I quit working as an adventure guide in Vietnam so I could refocus on growing the marketing agency I was running with my brother. Our business helped fitness professionals acquire more clients through a combination of Facebook ads and marketing funnels. The only problem was that our business had stalled. Just like a spotty teenager learning to do hill starts in his dad's beat-up Volvo, we had burnt out the clutch and were rapidly descending backwards down a steep hill. Luckily, we slammed on the handbrake just in time to save ourselves from becoming a mangled lump of steel and burning rubber. So what happened next threatened my reliable income and, as a result, my freedom to gallivant around the world on a whim. My brother George, who is 4 years my junior, decided to leave the company and focus on another project, putting me in a rather sticky situation. I didn't want to continue the business without my brother. That was the whole reason I brought him on board, to shift over the responsibility to George to manage and run the business. So after many late night balcony chats, we decided to continue servicing our clients while focusing most of our efforts on our new projects. Except I had no idea what I was going to do next. This was literally my worst nightmare, playing on repeat every single day. When your back is against the wall, you have to fight to survive. And this gives that devil on your shoulder the perfect chance to rear its ugly head. When your sense of security is threatened, your ego creates all the worst case scenarios and plays them in your mind in high definition. And the most damaging and worrying scenario stuck on repeat in my head went something like this. What if I can't replace my income and I have to go back home and live with my dad? Even though that was a very real possibility, the thought of it happening made me want to jump from my 10th floor balcony. I knew if I continued to entertain this fear, it would never release me from its debilitating vice grip and become a self-fulfilling prophecy. So just like a blacksmith or candlestick maker, I had a specific set of skills that were extremely valuable to others. So I made a list and quickly figured out that my ability to write words that sell was pretty fucking awesome. So when push came to shove, I knew that I could find someone willing to pay money for this kind of work. So I gave myself 30 days to start something new. One morning while I was checking my email, a subject line grabbed me by the neck and reeled me in. The message spoke about creating an email marketing agency specifically for e-commerce stores. Something clicked in my brain as the proverbial light bulb moment struck me like a bolt of lightning. I had dabbled in e-commerce and in the process spoke to many different store owners about how they were growing their business. No one was talking about email. So I did the numbers, and if a store was producing a sizable revenue of around 100,000 US dollars per month, I could surely carve out an extra 10, 20, or even 30% just from sending targeted behavior-based emails. So with this insight, I knew that it was the perfect time to apply my copywriting skills to an underserved market. So the email I received linked me to a webinar that vaguely outlined the basics and pitched me on a course that supplied detailed training on how to get the business rocking. So I dropped 2,000 US dollars on my American Express Gold Card and never looked back. This investment would light a fire under my ass because I literally had to get at least one paying client and a minimum of 2,000 US dollars before my Amex balance was due in the next 30 days. So I knew how to start an online marketing agency, but what I was really paying for was access to a mentor who was already running an email agency and getting results. So here's how I landed my first paying client. So one of the methods the course taught me on how to pick up your first few clients was kind of like cold calling, but without having to actually speak to anyone on the phone. You make an educated guess as to who is running an e-commerce store and reach out to them on Facebook with the intention of helping them for free. And this is basically the online version of visiting all the businesses in your area and trying to pitch them on your service with an irresistible offer. And naturally, with any kind of cold outreach, you're going to piss a few people off, but all I was looking for was one person who was at least open to hearing what I had to say. So after 2 weeks of relentless messaging and more no's than I can care to remember, I finally found a successful store owner who was willing to consider my offer. And I told him I would work for free until he could see the concrete value of the work that I was doing, and then we could figure out a deal. So here's how I brought in $10,000 in less than 4 weeks. In my first few years in the marketing world, I learned the hard way that if you want your clients to stick around and refer you to their friends, you must produce undeniable, measurable results. So this became the primary focus for my email marketing agency and should be the goal for most service-based business-to-business companies. Get your clients a massive return on their investment and they'll shout about you from the rooftops. So this is exactly how we generated $10,000 in revenue in such a short amount of time. The first client we worked with told one of his buddies, who also had a thriving online store, and the friend signed up immediately. At the time, we were charging $5,000 per client, with $3,500 being a one-time setup fee and $1,500 being a monthly retainer. So it's actually pretty easy to hit this big number of $10,000 if you can find 2 clients and deliver exceptional results. So why did this work so well? There were a combination of factors that came together when launching this new business, facilitating our rapid success. It was like the perfect storm. If you're considering launching an online business, make sure to try and nail as many of these points as possible to give you the best chance of hitting a home run. So the first thing you need to consider is to play to your strengths. Because this wasn't my first business in the marketing space, I had amassed a wealth of experience over 7 years that gave me more confidence when speaking to potential clients and asking for money. I also have a deep understanding of how marketing and copywriting works, and I can easily apply these principles to pretty much any business. You also need to consider good timing. Back when I launched my agency, there weren't many others offering a similar service specifically for e-commerce store owners. This put me in a unique position. Demand was high and supply was low. All we had to do was demonstrate results so that it became a no-brainer to sign up. Third point you need to consider is to serve a niche market. You might think offering Facebook ad management or email marketing is serving a niche market, but in today's saturated world of agencies, you're going to crash and burn. You need to spend some time to figure out what markets are currently underserved for the service you are offering, then focus on them. It's also worth mentioning that you should go after an industry that you actually enjoy working with. I have some experience in the e-commerce space. The people that I've met in the space have been awesome, so I chose naturally to focus on those guys. So the fourth point that you need to consider is to work with clients who actually have money. This may sound obvious, but if you're going after clients who can't afford your fees, you're clearly barking up the wrong tree. I only work with stores generating at least $100,000 per month, which means they can usually afford my services. And the fifth and final point you should consider is guarantee your results. One of the ways that I reduced risk when a new client signed up was to guarantee results. I put my money where my mouth was and told them they'd get a full refund if they didn't break even after 30 days. I had confidence in what we were offering and made sure we deliver on that promise, and no one has since claimed on this guarantee. So I just want to throw out a quick disclaimer, guys. What I've shared in this episode can be applied to most agency business models, and although it may sound easy to pull off, it does require a certain level of marketing experience to get these kinds of results. But don't let that discourage you though. There is an endless amount of high quality content online that will teach you pretty much whatever you want to learn. If you take the approach of working for free, at least in the beginning, you can try out what you learn and get some experience along the way, but it's important that you mention upfront with your potential client that this is what you're doing. But with enough patience, persistence, and consistency, you will develop a depth of knowledge and experience that will be valuable to many business owners. And to grow your new business, you must have an interest in the work that you're doing and the clients that you help. If you're doing it just for the money, well, you're in the wrong business. To build a successful agency, you must care about your clients and have the wherewithal to rapidly adapt to new developments in your industry. Fail to keep up and you'll get left in the dust. But with that being said, starting an agency can be extremely rewarding and is often the fastest path to creating a six-figure business. So if you have any questions about anything that I've shared in this episode, please let me know. Drop me an email, tom@dabsofreality.com. I hope you found some of the points in today's episode valuable. And if you're thinking about starting an online business, certainly consider what I've shared with you here. But the thing is, there's just so many different business models. The agency model is pretty labor intensive, and that's why we've got a team of 5 people so far. But I literally just wanted to get your juices flowing. If you're wanting to make that switch, or if you've already got an online business and it's not really working out for you, then it's important to consider your options. What are your strengths? Who would you love to work with? And how can you figure out to deliver something of value to these people?